The usual stories about Minecraft will always go to Herobrine, about how he lives and he's a lot more than code. But have you ever wondered about the Endermen? And whether or not there's any secrets about them? Everyone who's played Minecraft is well familiar with them by now, and while they can be hard to find in the overworld, many have visited their home in the end. Of course, they aren't hostiles, unless you look at them or attack them. For this reason, quite a few people consider them friendly and actually like them. Personally, I've always found them creepy and killed them whenever I could. They're based off of Slendermen, after all. Well, being as strong as they are, regular players know that if you run into one right after you spawn, you run for water. For some reason, Notch decided to code them with a fear of water. And whoever thought anything bad could happen with water, right? Well, water isn't the whole reason this mess started. I haven't even attempted to start up my game since then. I was playing on my regular world, a server that my friend and I had started. We had plenty of houses built, a seemingly unlimited supply of diamond and gold, and the Ender Dragon was defeated. There really wasn't much to do in that world anymore, so you had to get very creative. My friends and I, we were creative enough, and we understood the game very well. Aaron was our redstone guy. If you needed anything powered, he found a way to build. Myself, I made a majority of buildings, and even started working on a city. We had a few guys who would work on supplies, planting and harvesting, anything that was needed. Lastly, we had Graham. He did all the magical stuff, potions, enchanting, and he had us build him a mob trap so that he could get an outrageous amount of experience whenever he wanted to. Of course, we had the randoms who would join, the occasional troll, and sometimes we would have someone new join our group as a regular. We even had all fought the Ender Dragon before, and we could do it fairly quick. Aaron, I, and a majority of the group would take out the crystals and fight the dragon. Graham, however, would stay underground working up potions for the battle, and have the rest do deliveries. He wasn't too fond of Endermen either. That's why he made us bring water buckets to the end. He stayed in the middle of the water where the Endermen couldn't get him, and that's where I got my whole idea from. One day when I had nothing else to do, I decided to get on my server. It had been about 2 weeks since the Ender Dragon was beaten, and we hadn't really gone to the end since then. We had a little trap that was set up with torches and sand that would send anybody who walked onto it into the end, but that was mostly just to make them panic. Well, I had the great idea of using the end to farm ender pearls. I was planning on using Graham's idea with the buckets in order to do it, but on a massive scale. I had every intention on flooding the end. With the help of an inventory editor and the /fly command, I started. Of course, this was the only time I was using such things, as I made sure that our whole server was legit. However, I was the only person on, and I figured everyone would have a good laugh out of the fact that I flooded the home of the Endermen. As I started going, a good portion of the floating island they came home was filled up with water quickly. You would hear them panic and teleport away. Every time they would get splashed, and the occasional scream from them when they decided to go swimming for too long. It's amusing how much determination to live a single computer AI can give a being. Fill up, they became very crafty on their spawns. Many were going under the island, on little ledges, but as soon as I saw them, they would be swept away from the water and fall into the void. I kept going until there was a little square in the center, and the obsidian platform that I spawned in on. They were pushing each other out for a little while, what precious space they had left. And one would fall off the platform or into the water every few seconds. I made a few more trips around the island, filling up any spots that I missed and finishing off any stragglers that found a comfy spot to sit in. One had even found a spot buried in the ground, in a four tall tunnel until I flooded him out. This all took till about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was happy I was able to finish by the night's end. After I was sure that I had filled every dry spot, I filled up the square in the center. Many of the Endermen just swarm until you heard them death scream and they fell. While a few of them managed to teleport to the platform, I decided to have a little fun. At first flooding the edges and watching them push each other into the water and off the level. This left only 4. This just compelled me to get it over with and flood the center, which I did, causing 3 of the 4 to fall off the platform. The one remaining Enderman stayed jumping in the center, and slowly his health was being chipped away. Finally, he fell to the floor and screamed. But it wasn't the normal death scream I had grown accustomed to during my trip. It was glitched, slowed down. Then it would start over, skip and drag out even more. Eventually the rest of the game took suit, and I was unable to move. The sound repeated itself, as did his body falling to the floor. That is, until Minecraft has run out of memory. Minecraft then crashed, as does the Java. As many people do when something like that happens, I started to boot up both the server and my Minecraft again. I figured that it was just a glitch, due to the massive amount of water running and the loot that was on the ground from the Enderman dying. I put in my IP address in the multiplayer and clicked connect. Error, world not found. Shit, I thought, as I knew that the crash had corrupted the files. Luckily, I backed up the world right before we fought the dragon. I grabbed my external, copied over the files, and loaded it right up. Even though I couldn't fix all that was lost, I figured that I would at least go back and fight the dragon again before bed. Thanks to Graham, I had armor and weapons with any enchantment possible, as well as potions that would last me years of battle. I got over to the portal, jumped down the hole, and the end loaded right up. However, something was wrong. As I looked for the ender dragon, I saw nothing in the air. The crystals are on a tower, but no dragon to feed off of them. I noticed that next to the endermen are gone as well. I get on the island, walk around a bit until eventually I'm hit. I look up and see that the crystals are chaining to what I would presume to be the dragon. He was invisible, so the world just didn't load properly. I save, exit both programs, restart my computer, and I got right back into it. The dragon was there, but the enderman was still absent. Easier fight, as I don't have to worry about looking in the wrong direction and having to ward off a pissed off enderman. 20 minutes later, I shoot the last arrow into the dragon and he floats into the air. The egg drops onto the fountain, and I run over there so that I can get out of the end, but another strange occurrence happened. The end portal that usually fills the fountain is now just the same texture as water. A bucket wouldn't pick it up like normal water, though. This just led me to think that my .jar file was corrupted, and I hop in. Eventually it functions just as the normal end portal would, except that I hear the near-death scream of the enderman again. Not just once, but over and over and over. The portal finally works, but it isn't what I expected. Black, and then Minecraft has run out of memory. I reinstalled all the files, including the world from another time, and the game starts up without a hitch. I get back to the portal and hop in this time. It's not the end that awaits me. Instead, it seems like an endless room. I can still see, but it's just a faint glow around me. I walk forward, thinking that it could be the end, and something like a potion of blindness is stopping me from seeing it. The faint globe of light is all I can see, and the only source of light in my room as well. The platform doesn't end in a few blocks, though, and the obsidian continues, shattering my hopes of being in the end. The obsidian floor keeps going in all directions, so I follow a straight line, and I walk. And the sounds start. My footsteps first, but then the sound of blocks being placed. As I go forward, the faint sounds of endermen begin, and increases. First just like normal grunts, then they sound as if they are agitated. The sound becomes much more frequent. It gets louder, as if there's a whole horde chasing me, but they refuse to catch me. I start to see the purple pixels as if they are teleporting themselves and me. And then it stops. A few seconds and steps later, one comes flying at the screen, and the death screen goes at the full volume. This makes me literally jump and let go of the keyboard and mouse. Silence. It doesn't start up again until I move the mouse. One more sound, a light grunt, as if they're letting me know that they are in the darkness, just out of my sight. I go forward again, clicking my mouse and hoping to hit one of them, or a wall, or shit, anything. The pattern starts over. The sounds, the pixels, and the scare. I didn't stop moving though, and neither did they. It continues. Escape, Alt plus F4. They don't have any function. Unplugging my computer is out of the question, as I refuse to risk my equipment. I keep going, hoping that it ends, and after about 3 minutes of the cycle it does. I'm teleported one last time, unable to move. The enderman on the screen stares straight into my eyes. Water surrounds my character, and after 20 seconds, he begins to drown. "You are dead," in the background. The Enderman still looks with his stoic appearance, not even flinching as much as an inch. 5 seconds later, the computer powers down without warning, and I'm left in the dark. The next day, I send my friends the files for the world. They play the game without any flaws, gone to the end, and they've even gotten a few pearls. I refuse to. I don't even have the files on my computer anymore. I did a complete wipe of the hard drive. Mine at night. It's a lot more than a simple A. These games and entities that form on our fears, they do that, and much more. It's a lot more than just simple coding now. The Endermen, they do hold a grudge. They have a fear, and it's not something to taunt them with. They are aware, and they will make sure that you become well aware of them and their presence.